Okay, so today we're playing Maplestory 2. And I know what you're thinking, how is he playing Maplestory 2? This game has been canceled for like 3 or 4 years now in the United States. All I'm gonna say is use Google and Reddit to figure it out.
What do you mean by that?
And the backstory about this game is, it's like I said, it's essentially a prequel to Maplestory 1. Maplestory 1 is one of the most played online games of all time. So it's weird that the sequel would end up failing, especially because this sequel had a lot of potential, and you're gonna see there's a lot of like interesting concepts that are used in this game that maybe other games could probably use. But we'll get into that later. The reason why Maplestory 2 failed in the US was mainly because the main story was really easy, so people progress through it very fast, which is a big issue in the MMO community. What they do is they try to give you like a power fantasy type experience. And by that I mean is they go ahead and try to let you level up fast so you feel like you're being strong. Because a lot of the people these days who play games, they don't like playing games that are hard. They really like games that are easy, that make them feel like they're powerful. So why am I playing it again now? Well, despite all of that, I still enjoyed playing Maplestory 2 because like I said before, you're gonna see there's a lot of features that are really underrated. Like the customization of this game is on point. You're not gonna see it right now, but like you can literally design your own clothes, you can design your own weapons, to the point where in this game's peak, people were wearing like just regular everyday brands. Like people would walk around wearing like Supreme and like Rick Owens and stuff. Well, maybe not Rick Owens, but like people would go around wearing like popular streetwear and designer brands in the game, because the game gave you so much freedom to create. You could also make your own dungeons, you could make your own houses. There was a lot of cool ways that you could interact with other players too, with interesting emotes, lots of mini games and such. But anyways, let's get into this playthrough. Alright, I'm still kind of getting used to these controls, but they control pretty well. And this game also works pretty well with like a regular controller too. All we gotta do is guard this caravan. This shouldn't be too difficult. And another thing I don't like about this game, I don't like how there's like, after every mission there's like a portal. So it's like, it basically is just teleporting you to every single mission instead of having you to like make a journey to the specific point that you're supposed to go to. I really dislike that. I'm already a noob. The enemies aren't that hard to even beat. Like, why can't I just walk over there? Wait, why are people running away? What's going on? We just got here. Okay, bro. First things first, bro. This is probably one of the main villains in the main story. I'm gonna go ahead and assume. Why does this person look like a child? I know every character in this game kind of looks like a kid because everything's like chibified, but like, come on, man. Like, they couldn't create a more intimidating looking antagonist. Like, come on, bro. Like, what is that? Right, it says I have to defeat your lackeys, which is gonna be pretty easy.
Bruh.
Bro, that took literally 2 seconds. Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? That was 2 seconds. I wasn't power leveling when I played this. 2 minutes would have been fine, but come on, bro. Like 2 seconds? That was ridiculous. Okay, now we got a boss. Okay, this boss better not take 2 seconds. Okay, let's get it. I'm not doing any damage to this guy. One thing I do love about this game, I like the combat in this game. The combat in this game is very satisfying. It's like, this game is just like anime Diablo. What? In a way. Actually, I can't even say, like, I never even played a Diablo game. Top-down, isometric combat. I would say it's more like Lost Ark.
Okay.
I wish it would have let me like at least kind of fight the boss a little more, but I guess there was really no point because it was just a scripted sequence. I gotta go up this hill. So let's just follow these arrows. I like how the skill tree in this game is pretty simple and easy to understand. I feel like anytime I play a new MMO, you end up having to like always look up some guide so you don't like mess up your skill tree. But in this game, it's pretty self-explanatory and it's pretty easy to determine what skills that are going to be useful and which ones aren't going to be that useful. Although I think every game should just be like Mabinogi and just let you max out literally everything. Okay, so another cool thing that this game kind of like introduced was there's basically random events that like happen at just random times during the day when you're playing the game, and anybody at any point in time can just join in. And obviously back when this game was popping in the US, there'd be tons of people taking part in these events. But as you can see here, since barely anybody plays this, it's just like me and like 2 other people. The whole premise of these mini games are to kind of force you to socialize with other people, and you get rewarded for it too if you win the mini game. So I think that's a cool practice that probably could be implemented into a lot of more modern MMOs. Okay, so I think this game is kind of similar to Fall Guys. You stand on a block and a timer's gonna go off, and then once the timer goes off, you want to make sure you're standing on a block that isn't gonna knock you off the platform. Okay, which one am I gonna pick? I'm gonna pick this one. Okay, so far so good. The dude who was the dreadlocks looks really cool. I think he's wearing a revenge sweater, which I didn't even know that you can get dreadlocks in this game, which is kind of cool, especially for a Korean game too, to allow that in. Yeah, and that's the end of that. I know it kind of just looks like these enemies are just running into like my shurikens, but they really knocked it out the park with the combat. The combat is really, really fun and satisfying, and it's not too complex, but at the same time it's just like the right amount of like strategy. Because like with the bosses can be kind of difficult sometimes. They have little mechanics that you kind of have to kind of figure out. You can't just stand in the same place, you gotta dodge and so forth. And this game does has the Maplestory charm, like even though it's all blocky, and part of the reason why it's so blocky is because this game came out around the time Minecraft was like really popular. So there was a small number of games that were trying to kind of profit off the Minecraft type aesthetic. I'd rather them not have the game super blocky, because the original Maplestory is not blocky, but like it doesn't look bad. Okay, why is this guy dead? I think that's the culprit right there. He's riding very slowly. You got some dash panels, they're making you go faster. I'll be real, after a couple hours of playing, I got bored of using the ninja character. So now we're using the Berserker, and the Berserker is a lot more fun. He is kind of like a spin to win type character, and if you know what that means is, you basically can just do a spin attack and kill everything in the game. That's like the main move. But he makes the combat a lot more engaging because you're taking way more hits than if you were just playing a long range fighter. So we're going to be playing as the Berserker for the rest of this playthrough. Can you overcome a bunch of tires? What? I guess I'm supposed to move some tires, I'm assuming. But like from this angle, I can't see what's blocking me. Oh, there it is. There was nothing blocking me the whole time. Bro, this camera angle is horrible. Horrible, man. I can't see anything. Oh crap, a bunch of enemies. Let's just spin around and beat all of them. You know, throughout this playthrough, I've been complaining about the combat being too easy, but if you really think about it, like Maplestory 1's combat is pretty easy too, but I guess in Maplestory 1 you have more skills and there's way more classes and there's obviously way more players to interact with. Honestly, playing this is making me want to go back to Maplestory 1.
Fight back! Fight back!
This dude's not even attacking.
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
I don't think I even got hit. They gave me literally 7 pieces of equipment? Bro, that's ridiculous. Okay, let's do this. True or false? Moulin Rouge in French means yellow mill. I have no idea. I don't know anything about French at all. And that's a very random question to put in a Korean game. Hey, I got it right though. Okay, next question. Johannesburg is the capital of the Republic of South Africa. I have no idea. Nope, I was wrong. Pretoria is the capital of the Republic of South Africa. Okay, so I think I've reached a good stopping point with this game. And as I said before, I can see why this game failed in the US. It's just so monotonous. I think what would fix it for me would really be just making the game harder. Because like, even now, like levels 29, I'm fighting enemies at my level that are level 28, level 29, level 30. And I'm destroying them so easily, and it's just not fun. And I feel like I'm kind of just talking down on the game. Like I'm not trying to talk down on the game, because like even though it is kind of boring, I still like it because obviously it does a lot of good things too. Like the combat feels good, customization is really good, and they have some really innovative social features that I think other games should adopt. But overall, they gotta make the game harder. They need to add more variety in the missions. The journey to max level needs more variety. Like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. There needs to be side missions. I've never played an MMO where you start the game and there's no side missions. Like if you put no side missions in an MMO, you might as well just make it an offline game. Honestly, maybe this game never should have been an MMO. I think what would be really cool if this game was like a single player game that you have an optional choice to play online. Like the way Dragon Ball Xenoverse worked, where other players can like drop into your game and such. Like that way you can put it on a bunch of different consoles, not just the PC. I know there's MMOs on like the PlayStation 4 and 5 and the Xbox and so forth, but there's not that many MMOs. It's easier to put a single player game on a game console, obviously. So I think what they could do for this game is make an offline version of the game with online capabilities, so you can invite people into your session, or maybe have like a limit of how many people jump into your session at a time. Like maybe have like, I don't know, 200 people per session. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or they could do the Elden Ring type route where it's single player, but other players can invade your game. That would be kind of cool too. But I think the Maplestory games are supposed to be very social, so maybe having people invade your game wouldn't really kind of fit the themes of Maplestory. But and another thing about this game is that they could do more with the platforming. There should be way more platforming challenges, and maybe they can incorporate that into a lot of the missions instead of just kill this enemy, collect these items. If they ever decide to like re-release this in the US, or even like make a Maplestory 3. If you think about it, like at some point they had to make a Maplestory 3. Well, they could keep Maplestory 1 running forever, but like if they really want to expand their player base, they need to make a more modern sequel. They tried it with this one, it didn't work, so maybe try a new Maplestory. Maybe keep the chibi look, because Maplestory 1 had the chibi look, but maybe let's try not making it so blocky. Maybe take some inspiration from Guild Wars 2. Put a lot of emphasis on the exploration aspect of the game and platforming, and make the enemies tougher to beat. I haven't even been playing this game that long, and I'm already at level 29, about to hit level 30. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. The bosses in this game, like literally, their lifelines are going down like butter. They gotta make it tougher, bro. Throughout this entire playthrough, I didn't even die once. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying to make it like super hard like Dark Souls, but like, come on man, I want some challenge. I want to be able to like use my head when I'm like beating the enemies, or at least when beating the bosses in the very least. But if you made it to the end of this video and you're interested in playing Maplestory 2, the main way to play it would be to get a South Korean account, which kind of sketchy because you'd have to buy one if you're not in South Korea. The other way would be the way I'm doing it, which I'm not going to really say how I'm doing it. What I would recommend is just go on Reddit and click around a bit, and you'll eventually kind of figure out how to get to this. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.
어둠